Hello everyone, Rocket here, making me a video for anyone interested in what to buy for your PC gamer friend slash family member for Christmas. This is all my opinion on what's good right now and what would make good gifts if you're stuck for an idea. But just to warn you, we are a pricey breed. First up is the games, yay! For my first and easiest to make choice, it would be Fallout 4. This game has just come out, so it's very popular right now. There's a high chance your PC gamer already has this, but if not, they need it in their life. It's basically a single player action role playing shooter game, I'd say it's all those things, set in the near alternate timeline future. The set after a nuclear apocalypse has decimated the world. You run around a wasteland as a character you design, either helping people or playing as the bad guy. There's choices and consequences to all your actions, and lots of weapons and different clothing you can pick up, so you can really look badass if you want. You can also build your own house in this one, and you get a dog. There's enough content, I think. Well, there's definitely enough content in this game alone to keep your loved one entertained for a very long time, maybe forever. You might never ever see them again, so it might be a blessing or not if you get this. Especially on PC, where there are tons of fun mods that add tons and tons of content constantly being made by other players and people who just love making things. My next choice would be this game right here. Wait for it, wait for it. It's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Again, this game has just been released and is also a single player game. If your PC gamer is an Assassin's Creed fan, this is definitely the one you should be picking up. It's set in Victorian London. You swap between twin assassins as you follow the main story. You can also find collectibles, and there's a lot of learning to be done, as the Assassin's Creed games usually add famous buildings of the era into their recreations, with information included in them. The parkour, assassinations, and being a sneaky sneak are very satisfying, but I find it weird that everyone was so bloodthirsty back then. But, oh well, so they've added grappling hooks, so all can be forgiven. The game also takes a while to beat, like Fallout 4, but it doesn't take as long. But your loved one will still be able to spend a good 30 hours in the Victorian age. Now, for the first two games I suggested, they've both been single player, so the next one I wanted to suggest was something more multiplayer based. But as current, I didn't want it to have too much DLC, because that shit gets expensive, you know? I was originally going to say Star Wars Battlefront, because it looks beautiful, it sounds beautiful, but there isn't enough content there to keep me entertained, you know? It was essential, as well, to get the Season Pass, since they've hidden a lot of the game away behind extra paywalls, even though you just doshed out like 40-50 quid for the game. Instead, I want to suggest Rainbow Six Siege. I absolutely loved the Rainbow Six games growing up, and it was because you could play with your mates doing the storyline or terrorist hunt. Downside to the latest game is there doesn't appear to be a story mode. Like, what the hell, man? But even still, I've been playing the beta with my friends, I'm just having a blast. This is a first person shooter game with destructible environments. Not many games out there have this sort of destruction, and it's so satisfying. If you're a defender, you plan on how you want to defend, for example a house, while the attackers plan from the outside, smashing through walls, windows and even a roof to get in. To me, it's not so much a Rainbow Six game, it feels kinda generic, but being able to play with my mates on like this, like I said, is so satisfying. Next on my list is another mainly multiplayer game, Starcraft 2 expansion, Legacy of the Void. Even though it's an expansion, it doesn't need the base game to play, but it is the third part of the Starcraft 2 trilogy. Obviously it's a trilogy, I mean, it's the third part. What am I saying? So it might be worth getting it as a 3-game pack if your PC gamer is into their story mode campaigns. It's a real-time strategy game, so basically a war game, you know? It's been in beta testing for a while, from this March till November when it was released, so expect it to be pretty smooth going, shouldn't be many bugs. Blizzard usually put in a lot of effort into each of their games, and this won't be any exception. The expansion focuses mainly on a race known as the Protoss, and it has its own campaign similar in size to the previous games. They've also changed the multiplayer a bit and added new units to change things up for those who usually play these sort of games. Starcraft 2 is very popular multiplayer wise, and as professional gamers play for a shit ton of money in huge tournaments all over the world. But for the rest of us, it can keep you busy for a long time, and you'll probably start out pretty awful. But that's what the time is for. Speaking of awful, my final game choice would be Rocket League. But I don't mean it like that. I mean awful in the sense that if you're new to this game, you will get wrecked if you don't at least try the tutorial before playing online. This game is basically car football, and I'd say it's even better than FIFA. It's a lot more fun than FIFA. You get 1v1s, 2v2, 3v3 and 4v4 mode. But recently they've added a modified 3v3 mode where the game just goes into silly mode. You play as an RC car in an arena. There's a giant ball in the middle, and the aim of the game is to get the ball into the net of the opposing team. Sounds easy enough, right? But then gravity and physics come into play, and it just looks like mayhem. You'll zing straight past the ball, and the other team will score. And then your next thought will be like, man, I really suck at this game. We're down 10-0. But then practice makes perfect here, and it's a very addictive game. The matches are 5 minutes long, but with goals and replays that can last up to 10 minutes. So you can play very casually, and if you play offline, you'll play in a league similar to ice hockey, I think, versus really dumb AI. But online is where it's at. You'll get crushed or do the crushing. Where every game you'll see a fantastic goal or save at least once, making you think, damn son, I'll save that replay. Okay, so I turned on my light because it's getting dark as shit in here. So let's move on to peripherals, okay? First up, what's made the biggest difference for me personally while gaming would have to be my second monitor I set up. You can play your games on your main screen and do everything else on the other. It's so bloody handy, you know? I'll show you what I got. This is what I mean, okay? See, that's my second screen I set up. It's just a random screen that I had left over. That was my main screen. Azus. Yes. It allows you to do all sorts, such as looking up strategies on MMOs and maps for bigger, mapless games, you know? And I can watch YouTube when I'm bored, while playing something really boring. And if you use Twitch as well, it's really handy for looking at your own stream and to make sure it's fine, and to interact with chat, which provides entertainment itself. I love talking to people on Twitch. The only downside is for a decent monitor, you're talking like 100 to 150 quid. But I'd recommend a BenQ or Asus monitor. They seem to be really good for gaming. What you want to look for is a low latency screen. So you want it to say in the description of the monitor, something like maybe 2 ms. You want it to be between 1 and 5 ms. And you want it to be at least 1080p. So for resolution, you're going to look for 1920 by 1080. So you can get that crisp feel. But a lot of them these days go more than that, like 1440 and 4K and all that jazz. I'd also suggest a mechanical keyboard. They respond better than a regular keyboard and last a lot longer too. But again, they can be pricey. I use a Razer Black Widow 2014 Ultimate. The original keys are pretty loud, but it's a mechanical, so you can actually take them off and change them for quieter cherry keys, as they're known as, I think. Here we go. Let me show you. See how green it is? Like my pajama bottoms. See how green it is? I like that in the dark. It looks pretty cool. I also got a mouse to go with it. Mind all the mess. Here's my mouse. Because it would look a bit weird if I didn't have the combo, you know. But the mouse is a Razer Death Adder, and I like how pretty they look. If your PC gamer is playing online, they'll want to communicate with others. I suggest Dynamic headphones. For example, these are DT770 Pro. Stick them on. I can't hear anything of the outside world, and it sounds like an echo in my own head. And also, when I'm listening to music, say I buy a new CD, it sounds absolutely amazing. Like Queens of the Stone Age, if you're into them and you stick these on, man, it's just beautiful. To counter spending so much on this, I bought a Zalman clip-on microphone. It's tiny. I actually dropped it just now on the floor. Here we go. Zalman. See how small that is? It's under 10. I think it's like £6-7 on Amazon. But you just clip it onto your headphones. Boom. People can understand you fine, and it works just as well. That way you can spend as much as you want on this and not have to spend anything on this. Perfect. And it's been like over 2 years and I haven't broken it, but I'm not actually using it right now. I'm using I've upgraded only slightly to a blue microphone, blue Snowball. I got it bought for my birthday recently. Man, but it's not so important. Finally, I haven't got one, but with all new space and flying games coming out, if your loved one is into that kind of thing, I definitely suggest buying them a hands-on throttle and stick combination, or a HOTAS, as you'll see it if you Google it. HOTAS, H-O-T-A-S. Apparently, they make flying a breeze and a lot more fun than a controller or a keyboard. The one I'd pick if I was to buy one would be the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS X joystick, as it's cheap. It's like under 40 quid. And the reviews make it sound pretty good. And speaking of controllers, if you don't have one, I'd pick up a wired Xbox 360 controller, since they're pretty cheap. I got one right here, under 20 quid from Amazon, or 20 like dead on from Game, because they're rip-off merchants. Boom, the afterglow. It has a button on it so I can make that glow green too, but it's too bright. What the hell? It's too bright compared to my keyboard and mouse, so I just leave it off, you know. And finally, you can't go wrong with Steam vouchers, or a Netflix membership, and unlimited supply of beer, rum, or whiskey. Just saying. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll have come away with something from this video. Hopefully this video isn't just a load of dog shit, you know. And if you did like it, please like, leave me a comment, subscribe, you know, all that jazz. And thank you for watching. Yes. Have a good evening.